Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Green Earth Podcast. I'm Pedro Zimmer, your host, and today we're going to map out the key institutions and frameworks to make the carbon market work. Who are they, what they do, and most importantly, how do they all connect? The voluntary carbon market has grown into a multi-billion-dollar ecosystem. It is no longer an experiment. It's working. It's governed by a growing body of credible, specialized institutions that make sure that everything works properly. But with all that growth comes a lot of complexity. So today, we're going to break it down and make it easy for everyone to understand. So let's start with the foundations, the frameworks and standard setters. These are the institutions that define what credible environmental action actually looks like. We're going to start with the Science-Based Targets Initiative, or SBTI for short. The SBTI is a global authority on corporate decarbonization. It helps companies set emissions reduction targets that are aligned with planetary boundaries. By 2025, over 11,000 companies worldwide have committed to SBTI targets, representing nearly 39% of the global market capitalization. SBTI emphasizes reductions first. Carbon credits only would come into play later under a concept called Beyond the Value Chain Mitigation, or BVCM. That means investing in verified carbon projects like reforestation projects or clean cook stoves, but only after a company has made real progress on cutting their own emissions. Next is the GHG Protocol, the global accounting standard for measuring and reporting emissions. It was developed by the World Resources Institute and the World Business Council for Sustainable Development. And it defines Scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions, concepts that we've already explored in previous episodes. More than 90% of companies reporting to CDP use that, and it's referenced by major regulatory frameworks like the ISSSP's IFRS S2, California's Climate Disclosure Law, and the EU's ESRS. Without the GHG Protocol, carbon target setting and offsetting would lack any consistency and comparability. Then we have the ISO standards, particularly ISO 14064 and 14067. These are internationally recognized standards for how organizations measure, manage, and verify greenhouse gas emissions. Major certification bodies like Verra and Gold Standard require verification processes aligned with ISO standards and the EU CSRD list as an approved methodology for corporate GHG accounting. And speaking of CSRD, that's the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. This is the EU's framework for mandatory ESG disclosures. It dramatically expands the scope of sustainability reporting across Europe, requiring companies to disclose standardized information on environmental impact, risks, and transition strategies using the European Sustainability Reporting Standards, or ESRS, which we have mentioned before. It introduces the concept of double materiality, meaning companies must report both how environmental factors affect their business and how their business affects the environment. We should also mention the ISSB, the International Sustainability Standards Board, which published its inaugural standards in 2023. Over 20 jurisdictions, covering 55% of global GDP, have announced plans to align with ISSB guidance. It already counts with 320 organizations with $14 trillion in assets as early adopters. Now, the frameworks set the targets, but reporting and disclosure organizations make performance visible. The biggest one is the CDP, formerly the Carbon Disclosure Project. In 2025, around 25,000 companies disclosed through the CDP. It's backed by more than 740 financial institutions with $136 trillion in assets. The CDP has started integrating the ISSB's climate disclosure standards and elements of TNFD. Oh, and TNFD, by the way, is a task force on nature-related financial disclosures. So companies can report once and comply with multiple frameworks. And then there's the Global Reporting Initiative, or the GRI, the most widely used sustainability reporting framework in the world. Its approach is built on double materiality as well, making it highly compatible with the CSRD. Now, let's talk about the supply side, the organizations that actually verify carbon credits. Producing credits is super important. but verifying those and making sure that they're actually doing something good for the environment is as important as producing them. The heavyweight here is Verra, which operates the Verified Carbon Standard. As of 2023, Verra had issued over 1 billion certified carbon units, accounting for approximately 68% of global carbon credits issuance. Its registry includes more than 3,400 active projects across 125 countries. We also have the Gold Standard, founded by the WWF in 2003. It requires all projects to contribute to at least 3 UN Sustainable Development Goals. Credit issuance grew by 41% in 2023 and 2024. Gold Standard issued 84.3 million units. It's known for higher stringency in additionality and stakeholder engagement. In North America, the American Carbon Registry and the Climate Action Reserve are also key players. Both are approved for California's cap-and-trade system, giving them a unique crossover status between voluntary and compliance markets. Now we have to talk about the quality gatekeepers, and this is where it all really comes together. The ICVCM, which is the Integrity Council for the Voluntary Carbon Market, launched the Core Carbon Principles in 2023, 10 criteria defining minimum requirements for credit quality, including additionality, permanence, and sustainable development safeguards. So far, Verra, Gold Standard, ACR, and CAR have been approved as CCP eligible. On the demand side, the Voluntary Carbon Market Integrity Initiative guides companies on how to use credits responsibly. Its claims code of practice says companies must first set science-based targets, publicly report Scope 1 through 3 emissions, and then use the CCP-approved credits for claims like net zero or carbon neutral. It's also important to mention CORSIA, the aviation sector scheme led by the ACAO. It requires airlines to offset any growth in emissions beyond 2020 levels by purchasing credits from approved high-integrity projects. And then the credit rating agencies, Silvera, B0 Carbon, Calyx Global, and newer Rhinocer. Those provide independent project-level quality scores using satellite data, AI, and on-the-ground analysis. These are becoming a baseline requirement for many institutional buyers. Behind every transaction, you've got a growing ecosystem of marketplaces and tech infrastructure. Expensive CBL Exchange is the largest spot trading platform. It facilitated the trade of 116 million tons of carbon credits in 2022 alone, worth 795 million. Air Carbon Exchange has pioneered the tokenization of credits using blockchain. And CME Group brought legitimacy by launching physically deliverable carbon offset futures. On the tech side, MRV providers, that's monitoring, reporting, and verification, are transforming how we validate carbon projects. Companies like Pachama use satellite data and machine learning to monitor forest carbon. Regen Network operates a blockchain-based MRV platform for regenerative agriculture. And the Open Forest Protocol provides decentralized community-led verification, particularly valuable for smallholders and indigenous communities. So that is the big picture. The GHG Protocol sits at the foundation. It's how you measure emissions. SBTi tells you how much to reduce. VCMI tells you how to credibly use offsets alongside those reductions. And the ICVCM defines what counts as a high-integrity offset in the first place. On the supply side, Verra and Gold Standard issue the credits, which get assessed for core carbon principle eligibility by the ICVCM. And on the supply side, Verra and Gold Standard issue the credits. Those get assessed for core carbon principle eligibility by the ICVCM and independently rated by agencies like Silvera. On the reporting side, CSRD, GRE, GDP, and the ISSB standards ensure all of this is disclosed transparently. It's a layered ecosystem, but one increasingly aligned around common principles of accountability, transparency, and integrity. Thank you for joining us today. The Green Earth Podcast is a Green Earth initiative, and Green Earth is a large-scale, nature-based project developer, and our goal is to help nature flourish and prosper. If you want to read more about our projects, please check our website, green.earth. The link is also in the description. If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider leaving us a review. And if you know anyone that might benefit from this content, we'd greatly appreciate your recommendation. I'm Pedro Zimmer, your host, and I hope to see you for the next episode of the Green Earth Podcast.